those of you who have not signed up, I want to show you what you're going to miss today. Because I'm going to talk about their strengths, what are the things that they're going to offer to us. People who attended last year, this is the Bio Theater. The Bio Theater is a beautiful theater. It's got 500 people who can seat in there. So this is the Exercise and Nutritional Health Institute of University of Houston. And the reason I put that up there is that we're going to do some blood draws out there. So there are going to be some fairly inexpensive blood draws that are going to be done that evaluate your cholesterol profile, insulin resistance, and I'll get into that a little bit. The campus of the University of Houston is beautiful. Lots of green spaces, you can walk around. So this is another way to entice you to come there. So Georgie and Melissa are going to live stream the event. So they're going to, they are experts at video recording. So anybody who signs up, if they don't show up, they can still watch this at home on live stream. So Brenda's on from IDM, Intensive Dietary Management. That's Jason Fung and Megan Ramos's group. She's going to come. And the two people here, Shannon and Cassie, have gathered 10 volunteers already, and I think they have about maybe 5 or 10 backups in case some of them back out. And what she's going to do is to take people through a 3-day fast. So for 3 days, it's a water-only fast, water and salt fast. So the conference starts on a Thursday. She's going to start their fasting by meeting with them on Wednesday, giving them all the instructions. She's got a lot of tricks up her sleeve. So the first night that you sleep without food can be particularly difficult, and she knows how to manage that. She knows how to carry you through that. Okay, so Shannon is there. Come on, Cassie, you also have to stand up. Okay, there's Cassie.
Yeah.
So in case any of you are interested, in case any of your friends are interested, send an email out there. We will call you guys and see if we have space. Otherwise, if you don't have space, we'll say you're on a waiting list. These are the 3 people who are going to help the medical problems with the fasting patients or individuals. And Brenda's on is going to take them through the fast.
Who's the cute guy on the right?
The old man on the right. So there's going to be also a zone room. So University of Houston has several small rooms. So on the zone room, Brenda is going to be there every day. The time that she'll be there will be announced and posted on the conference website. So not only the people who are fasting, but people who are interested in knowing what's going on with them can show up and listen to the proceedings, and they can ask questions. And I have shown Dr. Ramon Isa's story, which is very transformational as to how he lost 150 pounds. He was an ER physician. So there are several people who are going to come and give their testimonials, a 10-minute testimonial as to who they are, what were their challenges, what did they do to lose weight, how can they help others, and they will be available to people after or during the conference for you to talk to. So one of them is Dr. Isa, the second one is Peter Sir. You heard him last year. He's got a very persuasive story. The young lady, Mrs. Sweeney, she may or may not do it, but she's a type 1 diabetic who makes no insulin, who takes insulin and keeps it less than 5. And so the reason I put her up is that her story would give you a lot of insight as to how best to manage your diabetes. He gave a very persuasive presentation of a 328-mile walk, and he will have another one of his stories about how he manages his lifestyle. So if you're interested, so if any of you or your friends are interested in getting up on the stage and taking 5 to 10 minutes to do a testimonial, you just can't do it like that. You need to practice. You need to have the story rehearsed. Nina is going to help you through that. She's going to evaluate if you're good. If you're not good, she may say no. So if you are interested, your friends are interested, contact her, because there are going to be 2 days of transformational stories. Except for the young people here, most of us are too old to understand what PCOS is, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So Nadia is coming all the way from Portugal. She is an expert in PCOS, and her presentation at Denver was absolutely one of the best. So she'll be a treat to attend. The next one is Dr. Demasi. She's coming all the way from Sydney, Australia. So she's an investigative journalist, and in 2013, she had come out with a 2-part series on ABC Australia, in which she talked about how statin drugs were not beneficial and may potentially be causing harm. So the entire pharmaceutical industry ganged up, the Australian Heart Association ganged up. But despite all of that, she's persevered, and she writes very good, and she's a dynamic speaker about how the cholesterol studies are quite misleading. So it's a good voice to hear. I want a speaker at Low Carb Houston who will come and provide proper balance, who say cholesterol reducing medicines are good, you should take them for this reason. So far nobody has agreed. They are scared of you all. But I'm persisting. I'm going to meet with the head of Sanofi Corporation next Monday and convince them to send somebody so that there is proper balance. And Dr. Gerber is going to set the tone by going through the basic science which people can understand about behind low carb. And because of him, we were able to do the first Low Carb Houston. He convinced people that Dr. Ali is somebody that you can rely on, you can go and talk at his conference. And this year, we have had less difficulty in the speakers coming back. So he's going to start out the conference early. So he's going to be one of the earlier talks. Now this young man is Dr. Faisal Nabi. Dr. Nabi is a specialist in cardiac CT studies, so CAT scan directed studies of the heart. And he's got a lot of experience on calcium scoring. So that's what his fellowship was in cardiac CT. So this is somebody who knows a lot about coronary artery calcium. Okay, Ivor Cummins is Fat Emperor. I'm sure many of you know about Ivor Cummins. And he's got some of the most insightful talks on insulin resistance. And he's got the podcast, the Fat Emperor podcast. He would be here. And the way I want to use Ivor Cummins is to remind people that if it was not for Ivor, we would not have known about Dr. Joseph Kraft. So you have sat here and heard me say about the Joseph Kraft classification of insulin resistance. So Dr. Kraft was in his 90s when Ivor found him. He went and visited with him along with Dr. Jeff Gerber. And they together presented the Kraft classification. And you should look at it on YouTube for Nadir Ali MD, insulin resistance talk, and you'll get it, or you can look at a talk from Ivor Cummins on. I want to promote young people. This is a dynamic young man in the Valley. Hopefully he will say, hey, I don't want to be in the Valley and come to Houston and work. Dr. Christian Assad, he's a cardiologist, an interventional cardiologist like myself. And he has over 10,000 Twitter followers. So he is very, very out there, well known to the public. And he's another heart doctor in the state of Texas who treats people with low carb diet, understands insulin resistance, understands cholesterol quality. So if you have a friend in the Valley, you can refer to him, but you can also hear him speak at Low Carb Houston. How many of you remember David Diamond from last year? I think that David Diamond had a talk that he knocked out of the ballpark last time, because he went into the details on how the deception on why we should eat a low-fat diet was created. He went into the deception of why the media portrays that having low cholesterol is good for you. he went into important information about statins and the side effects of statins. And the absence or the minuscule benefit you get from taking statins when you have heart disease. So David Diamond would be a good person to listen to. How many of you are lean mass hyper responders? How many of you know of or have a cholesterol level, LDL cholesterol level over 200 or a total cholesterol level over 300? So we have many such patients. So Dave Feldman was one of the first people to define somebody called a lean mass hyperresponder. A lean mass hyperresponder, or LMHR, is a person who's relatively thin, relatively athletic, who's on a low carb diet, who's got beautiful cholesterol quality, very low insulin, very low inflammation markers, but yet when he goes to a doctor's office and get a cholesterol test done, the doctor will say, "You might die before you leave my office." So Dave Feldman was the first person to say, hey, wait a minute, this may not be that bad for you. This may be actually something good that is happening. And over a period of time, it took several years, but we now more or less understand at least a theory as to why the LDL cholesterol goes up when you are on a low carb diet, when you are eating predominantly fat and when you are eating or not eating at all, like the intermittent fasting that you do. There's a talk I gave at Low Carb Denver, and it's on YouTube. If you put my name, I think that's the first talk that will come up. Okay, so Dave Feldman, I think for $280, he is doing blood tests. I think about 200 people have signed up for this. The blood test is going to be done at the Exercise and Nutritional Health Institute right beside the conference. And it's run by LabCorp, by Kim Howerton. They're going to be people who know how to draw blood. They're going to offer lipid profile. They're going to offer insulin resistance, inflammation, and a few other studies. You can do that without attending the conference, although when you sign up for that labs, you get a little break in registering for the conference. You get a discount. We are running Low Carb Houston not to make a profit. So I want you guys to understand that none of the income from Low Carb Houston goes into either my pocket or Bill Aminet's pocket or any of the speakers. It's also done through University of Houston. University of Houston takes the money. And last year when we ran it, we put I think about $300 from our pocket. So we didn't make money, we lost a little money last year. And this year we'll probably break even or we'll have some saved for the following conference. So this young lady, Siobhan Huggins, she's going to talk about a special kind of an LDL. So LDL is considered to be the bad cholesterol, and amongst the LDL there's a special LDL which is called Lp(a). So what Lp(a) is that if this is the LDL cholesterol, it's got an attachment, a protein attachment, which looks very similar to one of the factors that promotes blood clots in our body. In other words, it fools the system that dissolves the blood clots, and the system sits there and it makes the person hypercoagulable. In other words, big blood clots. So people think that having high Lp(a) is dangerous for you, and there are a lot of studies on that. But you would be surprised. I see 85, 90-year-old women with very high Lp(a), with completely normal blood vessels, who've never had a heart attack, who've never had a stroke. So Siobhan Huggins is going to talk about why we have misunderstood this particular kind of LDL, the Lp(a), and actually tell us what it does, what are the benefits it has in our body. Because many times you get a detailed cholesterol profile, you get LP little a, and then you get disappointed. Man, what's happening to me? Am I going to die? What should I do about it? The cholesterol reducing agents, the statins, do not reduce LP little a. This is Amber. Amber Rohan is one of my favorites. I cannot tell you how much I have learned from her and how much of what I learned from her I have given to you guys. Because she's a carnivore, she practices eating only animal-sourced food. In fact, about the only plant food that she will have is coffee. So she's going to talk about why our bodies are specifically designed to eat animal food. And her presentation is very persuasive. And when you eat animal food alone, the levels of hormones change in you, and people think that that is abnormal. She's trying to argue that how normal that is. The need for vitamin C gets reduced. The need for special vitamins gets reduced. She's going to talk different details about the benefits of what we call animal-sourced food diet. Dr. Ballerstad is a great human being. I mean, it's just an absolute delight to talk to Dr. Ballerstad, because he's an agronomist, he's a soil scientist. And he talks about carbon capture. But ruminants are animals that eat grass. So the human colon is very small and rudimentary. We cannot ferment fiber very effectively to get any energy. But the ruminants can ferment fiber for energy. Think about it. Why do ruminants ferment fiber? The reason is that they have 4 stomachs. And 2 of their stomachs are filled with bacteria. So what do the bacteria do? When they take the fiber and ferment it, what do? What do they make? They make fat. Cow can eat grass and get fat. Humans can't. So have you ever thought about it as to how much of the Earth's surface is grassland? How much of the Earth's surface is grassland? It's a lot, about 14%. The ruminants can eat the grass, and we cannot consume the grass. The ruminants are not in competition with humans. They're not, because we cannot eat their food. So they eat the grass and convert grass into useful food for us, which is meat, cheese, and milk, butter. Right? When I go to Hot Toddy's and I have a burger, I say that I'm eating fermented vegetables. I learned that from Dr. Ballerstad. And he will talk about saying that if you promote ruminant agriculture, you will promote carbon capture. You will take carbon away from the atmosphere. Because what does grass do? Grass is a perennial. It lives from one year to the next. You don't have to take it out. And every year, it takes the carbon from the atmosphere and captures it into the soil. So one way to reduce carbon capture is to promote grasslands. Dr. Kushner is a Houstonian. He is a type 1 diabetic expert. He's an endocrinologist. His talk last year was just like people were enlightened, they were mesmerized. You know, people did not want to leave. And he talks about type 1 grit. He talks about how people with type 1 diabetes and on a low carb diet can lead completely normal lives. This is an amazing couple, Craig and Maria Emmerich. And I think Maria is more famous, but I think Craig is the better half. I call my wife my better half, but I think Craig is the better half. Emmerich has a website. They are people who do a better job than I do. Like my team tells me that I come here and talk science. I make science simple for you, but that's not very interesting. What you want to know is the 1, 2, and 3 simple steps on how to follow a low-carb diet. How can you cook, what to eat, how to do grocery shopping, have a recipe, have a cookbook. You don't need to look any further. If you follow these 2 people and you listen to them, They'll give you great ideas on how to translate the science that people like me bring to you into useful practice in the kitchen. Okay, Priyanka Wali is a very smart lady. She's an Indian like me, but she's born here. I was born outside of the US. She's very smart, and she talks about insulin resistance and sexual function. Because when your insulin resistance is high, your hormone levels go down, your testosterone goes down, your estrogen goes down. And it's not just sexual function that is affected, your libido is affected, your energy level is affected, your bone metabolism is affected, you are more at risk of osteoporosis. Very important things. So my goal today, Mike, I used so much time. My goal today was to kind of give you a comprehensive idea of what low carb lifestyle is about. I didn't want to just tell you that, hey, it's just insulin resistance and don't eat any carbs and eat fat. It's much more than that. I'll rush through Dr. Westman. He has the most clinical experience with low carb diet because he started with Dr. Atkins back in the 1990s before Dr. Atkins died. So nobody has more experience with low carb lifestyle. And his argument is that if you're on a budget, you don't have to go buy grass-fed meat, grass-fed eggs, grass-fed butter, because 95% of the benefit you're going to get from regular meat, regular butter, and don't worry about organic and grass-fed. He's got a pretty persuasive argument. Many of us are getting Alzheimer's and dementia because of the way we eat, because of the insulin resistance, because we are diabetics. And Amy Berger will go into the details of why this lifestyle is going to help prevent dementia in you. Carrie Brown is an amazing lady. She is the other half of the two keto dudes. And she's going to come and talk about a set of people with bipolar disorder and how a ketogenic lifestyle, many of us know of people with bipolar disorders. And I'm going to have, her talk is so popular that I'm going to have a Carrie Brown room where people can go and talk to her one-on-one and get details on how she combated that. So you guys heard about Nutrition Coalition. The USDA is now going to put out new dietary guidelines. Dietary guidelines have impact because what the USDA says, they will serve our children in school. That's what is promoted and that's what is subsidized. So Nina Teicholz, Antonio Martinez are promoting a low carb lifestyle to the panel at USDA that's going to set the nutritional guidelines. In fact, a hearing for these guidelines is going to be in Houston in January. So Antonio Martinez, who has had heart disease and stents, is going to come and talk about Nutrition Coalition and tell us what is happening. Theater is a beautiful theater. It's got 500 people who can seat in there. There are probably about 450, and my rough guess is that at this time, close to 300 are sold. So make sure you tell your people to get a ticket early.